England have beaten the Netherlands and will face Spain in the Euro 2024 final. But which team are we backing in the fantasy game? This is your team selection video for match day 7. Welcome to the Gianni Buttice YouTube show. Hope you guys are well. Please do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed any of my content this summer so far. It's about to get even better as FPL launches. I've got so many FPL videos planned for you guys. But look, we're here to talk about the Euros. We're not massively here to talk about England, I don't think, because the team I'm backing for the final is Spain in terms of numbers of players. Remember, guys, we have 5 free transfers. That's really important where you're spending your transfers. Are you selling French, Dutch players, but are you bringing in England and Spain players or just one of those teams and going big? So let's have a look at my 15. Before we do, let's just have a very quick look at how Spain have been setting up, because look, Spain are the team we're all beelining for, I'm sure, unless there's some very passionate England fans that want to go big on England, and that's fine too. But down that left-hand side, Cucurella, Nico Williams, super advanced. But Dani Olmo is playing more advanced, and Morata looks amazing. And we've seen what Yamal has been up to. So it's a very clear identity how Spain play their passing patterns. The midfield or midfield 2 players of Williams and Olmo particularly attacking, and Yamal as a forward I think should be in everyone's team. So let's have a look at my 15-man squad, shall we? Let's start in goal. Now I'm going to show you where I've made those substitutions, where I'm likely to make those substitutions. So I'm going for Spain to keep a clean sheet against England. Will they keep a clean sheet? It's probably a coin toss. It's a 50-50, but I think they've got a much greater chance of keeping a clean sheet than England do. So Unai Simon is my chosen keeper. On my bench there, I think I've got... it doesn't even matter who I've got because you can only have 11 players. Remember that. We're not changing the armband with captaincy. We're not subbing in and out players. This is old school. Match day 7 is like playing FPL. You have your 11 players and that's it. So let's talk about the defenders, shall we? I have made most of my transfers in the direction of Spain. I think I've made 4 of my 5 transfers on Spanish players. I'm not picking an England defender just because I can't see a way in which they keep a clean sheet. France has a super good defense, and Spain scored 2 goals against them. So I've gone Carvajal, who's well rested, by the way. Didn't play in the semi, he was suspended, and I love that for Carvajal. Having a rest, certainly at his age, it is very welcome. He's going to be fit and raring to go for the final. He bombs forward down that right, always carries assist threat. Laporte is a bit of a ball recoveries monster. And then I think Nacho will partner him. Remember, Lenormand has been playing some games, but Nacho had such a good semi-final. I think they're my chosen. I could go Cucurella instead of Nacho, of course. Maybe that is where the smart money is. But again, I can react to team news should I want Cucurella instead of Nacho. And Cucurella has also been very good for recoveries. He clocked a minimum. He got at least 2 ball recovery points. So did Laporte in the semi-final. That's a minimum of 6 recoveries for those 2 additional points. We're not even going to show you who I've got crosses on because it doesn't matter. It's a Dutch guy. I think it's Dumfries, and I've got Kyle Walker there. So let's talk about the midfield, shall we? Because this has a balance of both Spanish and English players. Guys, thank you for liking, by the way. Helps the algorithm. Apparently, all of you that subscribe right now, whilst you hit that notification bell, really does me a favor with the algorithm. So please do hit the buttons, team. Let's talk about England for a little bit, because Saka and Bellingham are in this 11. Now, I have to have 3 English players, and I think Saka and Bellingham are 2 of my 3. There's an argument to look at others, but I just look at the tournament as a whole, and I go, Bellingham has been a match winner twice. Is it twice? Saka's been a match winner. And these guys can pop up with a goal. They're clutch players that Southgate will keep on the pitch, possibly for 120 minutes, right? We remember they both took penalties in the quarters, didn't they? 120 minutes in. So Saka and Bellingham for X minutes, Saka and Bellingham for coming up clutch, Saka and Bellingham for being a match winner should England score. Do I think England score? As I said earlier, I think it's a 50-50. Do I think Spain score? Absolutely, yes, they do. So the midfielders, there's 4 midfield options that start games, because remember, Yamal is listed as a forward. I don't have Fabian Ruiz in. He's the only one that misses out from the 4 starters. I do, however, have Rodri, who wasn't in the semi-final, but usually has been a ball recoveries monster. Dani Olmo, who goals and assists every time he plays. And with Pedri injured, Olmo is first choice in starting games. I think Olmo has to be in your team. I said this ahead of the semis. Get Olmo in your team. And he came up clutch for me with that goal. if Yamal wasn't player of the match, I think Olmo probably would have been. He was that good. And then Nico Williams, we're not talking about him as much because he's had a very good quarterfinal and semi-final, but quieter quarterfinal and semi-final. But if we look at the first 3-4 games for Spain, the group stages in particular, the game against Italy on match day 2, I think it was out of this world. Nico Williams has had a sensational tournament. And the only reason we're not really talking about him lots is because Olmo and Yamal have had the headlines in recent games. But actually, tournament in general, Williams has been just as good. He has been sensational and he's a lock in this team. Remember, when we look at that average position map, Nico Williams is the most advanced player on the pitch for Spain. And that's not just from the semis. That's every time they play. So those three are in without a shadow of a doubt. You'll see my transfers are highlighted. So I've bought in Nacho, who could be Cucurella, Carvajal, who's a lock, Rodri, who is a lock. So they've all come in for French players or Dutch players. Then when we look at the forwards, we have Yamal and we have Harry Kane. Forget Depay there on the bench with the cross through him. Remember, we can carry players on our bench. We don't need our bench players. Let's just talk about Harry Kane, though, because I just feel like he still is England's talisman. Like, he is the number 9. He is the captain. He is the leader. It's Harry Kane. He is one of the best finishers in world football. Some will say he's the best number 9 in world football. Yes, he hasn't had the most amazing tournament. Don't think that matters for a one-off game. Minutes is sometimes a concern with Kane. Does he look leggy? Well, yeah. But can he just turn it on for one final? Maybe he can. I do look back to Spurs' run in the Champions League when they got there. It was in Madrid against Liverpool. And Kane was, won't he be fit? Like, he'd been injured. And they rolled him out and he played, but a shadow of himself. And at times this Euros, I think we've seen that with Harry Kane. We've gone, you just don't look fully fit. A long season, he plays a ton of minutes, whilst when he was at Spurs and at Bayern, it's every game, rarely injured, and therefore now at his age, you start to see the effects of that. Let's talk to someone on the other end of the spectrum, though. He can play as many minutes as he needs to because he's a kid. He hasn't had any injuries behind him. He's fresh as a daisy. It's his tournament, and this is a player who could get player of the tournament. This is a player who will almost certainly get young player of the tournament, but he could get both. The goal in the semi-final was as good a semi-final goal as I can remember. He is different levels. We don't want to put too much pressure on such a kid to speak about him as like the future world's best, but he's already world class. And at 16, no other player in world football has been doing this in semi-finals of major tournaments at 16. And I include Messi and Maradona. Pele scored World Cup final goals at 17. Yamal is in that very top tier. And this could be his final because momentum is carrying him. And that's what we often do in FPL. It's not chasing last week's points when you pick a player in form. And Yamal is in the form of his very short career, but boy, does he look good. He's listed as a forward. That does turn us off him slightly for fantasy, which is why he's probably not been in all our teams up until now. He doesn't get that extra point that an Olmo or a Nico Williams get. He should. But he's listed as a forward. That might turn people to captain Nico Williams or Olmo. And I could be tempted to switch to Olmo. If I was ranking them, at the moment, I've got Yamal 1, Olmo 2, Williams 3. But that could change to Olmo 1, Yamal 2, because I just think we could consider Olmo, who has probably a greater chance of recoveries and probably a greater chance of... He hasn't got a greater chance of a goal or an assist, but he gets an additional point for that goal, and he gets the clean sheet point if they get a clean sheet. So he's got more routes to points than Yamal. So could I go Olmo? The one thing that turns me off Olmo, I should mention, is in the semi-final, who played 90? Yamal. Who came off? And boy, does Spain have strength and depth on the bench. The likes of Rizabal and Ferran Torres will come on, and Olmo could be hooked. So sure, he'll start, but at 70, 80 minutes, we could see fresh legs. I don't think we'll see Yamal coming off, although we have done in the stages before the semi-final. But knowing how he played in the semis, I'd like to think if I was going for X-mins, the guy who's more likely to get 90, I think, is Yamal. But the guy who gets the extra point for a goal is Olmo, and the guy who gets a clean sheet point is Olmo. It's a tough one. It's probably a coin toss. At the moment, I'm on Yamal. I could change it, but that is my 11. It's 8 Spanish players. It's 3 English. It's no English defenders. I know England are good at the back, and I know they've kept lots of clean sheets, especially under Southgate. But this Spain team is built different. They haven't blanked all tournament. This will be the only team ever in Euros history that has won every game without needing a shootout. Spain are good. Spain deserve this, don't they? Look, if England turn up on the day and they beat Spain fair and square, absolutely, I'd hold my hands up. England will deserve the Euros, no matter how bad they were early on. But the team of the tournament by a country mile has been Spain, and I can't see a way of England winning. But maybe I've got that completely wrong. I'm a football romantic at heart, and all the neutrals, and I am a neutral in this game, will be back in Spain because of the football they've played and the players they have. So look, let's see. And the positivity of their manager, I should add as well, because Southgate's turned a lot of neutrals off. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this vid. I've got so much FPL content planned. In fact, I've already started making pre-season FPL content. There is videos right now you can click on and watch right here, wherever it is. On your way out, do like and subscribe. I'll see you very soon, probably for my final Euros video. If I'm going to do another one, if my team changes, I will. But for now, guys, if you want to show your appreciation, likes and subscribes on the way out, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.